Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Four Lads Rangers Monday Night Live. If you're wondering what's happening, Stevie slightly happy. Rangers won a game. Thank you. Who better to celebrate it with than the original OG himself, Kenny? How are you, mate? You well?
Very well. Delighted to see our first win since April. So at Ibrox, that is. So that was lovely yesterday. Yeah, plenty to talk about as well. So looking forward to it, Stevie.
Yeah, we can. There's a lot to discuss. Yesterday was quite positives and lots of things to discuss in it. But first, before we do so, let's thank our sponsors. CBD Oil Scotland. You can get 50% off all their products by typing Four Lads into their website. Candid, LBJ Consultants, Elite Scooter Scotland, Metaclad, Four Lads official Rangers roofing partner. Athletic, I can never do this. Aesthetics Lounge by Sharon, which you get 10% off by booking when you use code 4Lads as well. And Denhay, the quintessential British beef, and British bacon, I beg your pardon, and back for this season is Athol Industrial Solutions, Ian and Deb. Huge thanks to them for all their help. Big friends of mine, and really appreciate them coming back on board. Sometimes when it's your friend, you don't want to ask, and you know it's like one of those things. But I went over to Poland with Ian, and Ian's just like, "No, you should have just said." And it's one of those things that I wouldn't think 2 seconds of asking Kenny and K for Men to do a wee sponsor or something for us, but it's different weirdly for some reason. But Kenny, a good win for Rangers at the weekend. We needed it. We needed that positivity. Some of the football was fantastic. Other bits and pieces to discuss, yeah. It wasn't so great, but overall, really positive. And they had a lot of criticism. I criticised them heavily on Friday night, which I felt was deserved. And it was pointed, and I get it completely that it's for some people and not for others. But for us, yesterday to respond like that, a lot of good individual and collective performances. So pretty delighted all round.
Yeah, absolutely. Going forward, I thought we were terrific, Stevie. Genuinely terrific. That's as good as I've seen in a long time with Rangers attacking. We just had so many bodies up going forward at times. Somebody that really surprised me the way he was driving, particularly in the second half, was Chukwani, the way he was driving forward with the ball. But we had more than just him doing it. There was a number of the midfielders driving right forward, making space. The wingers contributing massively. It was brilliant to see. And we got 5, could have got more. But yeah, it was a couple of iffy moments when they were still too easy to play against. I think off the ball we're not 100%, if I'm being honest. And I was a little bit concerned when St Mirren scored that we kind of drifted out the game for 5-10 minutes. So, but apart from that, honestly, that's what you want to see from a Rangers team, Stevie. Go at Ibrox in particular. Go and attack. Just go and attack numbers. And the best thing about it all for me was the decision making. We got it right. How many times have we sat and screamed over the last couple of years, Stevie, that you could be 3-on-1, 4-on-1, 3-on-2, whatever, and we don't make the right decision? Well, we tended more often than not yesterday to make the right decision. So we're all clutching for anything, aren't we? But that was much needed, and I'm very relieved that the first one of the season's out the way, and we can hopefully kick on a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about. I think, creating chances. There was a lot different. First of all, Kenny, wanted to talk a wee bit about the formation change and the lineup. We went strong, which you would expect. There was no cup goalkeeper change or anything like that. So we went strong, and 4-3-3, Chukwani, Raskin, Dragicevic, and in midfield. I thought it was all pretty spot on. Gassama kept his place, which he should have done. Yokota, who was quite funny when Derek McInnes said post-match, he told us he was gubbed, or the Japanese word for gubbed. And I quite like that. Derek's quite a kind of straight talker. He kind of talks how we probably would. So I really enjoyed his humour on that one. And then the Deary up front. So I think the back four kind of picks itself. James Penrice, who we'll discuss. Dujon Sterling, who played the best I'd seen him in a long time. The two boys at centre half, and then Pandor. So there was a lot of kind of selection you would expect. Chukwani come in from the cold in the 4-3-3. How do you think that change suited us? And what did you think of the kind of collect? We'll go individual in a bit, but the collective performance in that formation.
First of all, if you look back to Danny Rule at the turn of the year, he started playing two up front. So for most of 2026, we've been playing with two up front, and the results haven't been great, if you're honest. So to go to the three up front with the two wide players was surprising for me. I didn't expect them to do it. However, I think a lot of it was to do with it, almost like what we would assume is three holding midfielders, three slightly defensive midfielders, but they weren't like that at all yesterday. We had Raskin sitting holding, and the other two try to bust forward. Mikko Raskin in the second half managed to bust forward a couple of times as well. And I just felt that the midfield and having the extra body in there, Stevie, made us much more solid. Now, as I say, I think sometimes we could turn around and say that we're maybe a little bit too easy to play through, but we are a new team, so we're going to have to get that with a new manager and new coaches. So we're going to have to get a little bit of time to bed in. You know as well as I do at Ibrox, you don't get that time as such. However, for me, the width that we have, I said it on Thursday night to you in the first half, where the two wide players were staying right out in the touchline, and it made a massive difference. I thought the same yesterday. I thought Jerry Gassama was again excellent. I said to you on Thursday that I think that was the best half of football I'd seen from him for a long, long time, probably since he'd turned up, when he first signed. I thought yesterday again, overall, I thought he was absolutely fantastic, and full credit to the kid because he's taken a lot of stick, but I thought he was very, very productive. One that I haven't heard getting a lot of credit for or a lot of praise is Ryan Nadiri. Now, Ryan Nadiri worked his backside off yesterday and made a lot of space for others. That's what I would say. So you're right about Dujon Sterling. I thought, we're going to talk about our debutant, obviously, but the two fullbacks played very, very. Everything about it was better. We know we've got issues, that we'll come to speak about. But however, on the whole, without going overboard about Rangers, it's 1-1. We know that it's 1-1 that's starting, in 5 now. But I think St Mirren played into our hands a little bit by trying to go toe to toe and almost go man for man. And I think we've just got better players than them, and we exposed that. So I was delighted yesterday. I have to say, I thought we were. It was a bit of a breath of fresh air for me, Stevie, because I can't remember the last time we played with that kind of freedom going forward. We always seem to be a little bit chained in, if you know what I mean, when we go forward. A little bit hesitant. We weren't yesterday at all.
I think the impressive thing for me was that we got plenty of players in the box. We attacked with speed. There were some moments of slackness. I don't want to talk too much about the negatives because we always seem to be negative in recent weeks. People saying, yeah, it's only St Mirren. Of course it is, but respect to them, they won their first 2 games of the season. They'd got this far in the League Cup, and they were the holders. But Rangers were very good. There were strong performances throughout. At the time where St Mirren pulled their goal back at 2-0, Gassama had hit the bar. Nadiri had missed a chance at the back post from a corner. Gassama was taking more shots. Dragojevic's came close. And we'd scored a couple of cracking goals, Kenny. So I think let's just say the first 30 minutes, I thought we were the best that I've seen us in a long time. The first goal was a well-worked goal. They on the press, Yokota and Gassama, and then we get a bit of luck. And the Deary, though, with the poacher's instinct, does stick something on it. And then the second, it's just already a goal of the season contender for me, an absolute wonderful moment. So the first 30 minutes, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought we were great. Honestly, I thought we were brilliant. Penrice was an absolute breath of fresh air, and it just allowed Gassama to go and run. And he, listen, see if you're going to get 60 minutes out of him, if there's a bit of dubiety about fitness or whatever, then, you know, if he's given us that kind of 60 minutes, then that's fantastic for me. So the first 30 minutes and 2-0 up, could have been 4, nothing but positives for me, Kenny.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the second goal is just a thing of beauty. It's just a wonderful, wonderful strike, a great chest and hit. James Penrice really did get up and down that flank. I thought he was terrific. I thought he was pretty decent defensively as well, which really impressed me as well. But the energy, you know, he's a Rangers man. We all know that, right? But to have that kind of energy and just slot in as well as you do, as if you've been there for a good while, that's great to see. As I say, me personally, I thought the midfield, as I say, without getting into any of the negatives, I suppose, but I thought the midfield had a real purpose about them. I thought Dragicevic caught my eye in the first half big time, and I thought Chakwani caught my eye in the second half, as we'll talk about. But I just felt that when you look at it, you had Yokota on one side, Gassam on the other, and you can. It's wonderful to have that, Stevie. The wingers, but give me more wingers, because once you've got somebody that's got that, and if it's not working for Gassama or you know, that Yokota was bust, need to have the option of bring somebody else on that's of an equal ability. You can't beat it, Stevie. I've been saying this for ages on here. We need proper quality wingers, and I think if we do that, you'll see a massive, massive difference in this team, because they're the guys that we have all said for weeks. They are the difference makers, but they do create for others, and that's the great thing about it. So for me, I was just looking at it and thinking, yeah, disappointed when we lost the goal. But until we lost the goal, I thought we were in total control. We were playing really well. St. were in the game. I thought I was quite impressed with the way they were trying to pass it about. But we were on it yesterday, and it was good to see, Stevie. Really good.
Yeah, started off brightly and held that kind of approach throughout. Then we did concede, and it's a moment of slackness from Vanya. He passes it way behind Raskin. The boy then gets onto it. Should Raskin have taken the foul and a yellow card? Yes. He absolutely should for me, but then he just, the boy Mockery just fires an absolute screamer into the top corner. And then the problem, we were shaking a wee bit. McInnes said that as well. One goal shouldn't do that to us, and it shouldn't. But at the same time, it was a wonderful finish. Sometimes you have to applaud that. But there's things we could do better. First of all, loose ball, Raskin should take the foul, and then we don't close them down quick enough either. So there's these things to consider. What concerned me was the same as what McInnes said. We were shaking too much. And then what I think happened is that Nico Raskin sat all brilliantly during the second half as a 6, and right up until then. When the goal went in, people started chasing the ball, and St Mirren started getting more without creating too much. They had a fizzer of a ball across the face of goal, which kind of had me kind of worried for a second. And that moment was probably the closest they came. But Rangers were solid enough, Kenny. But just that little 15 moment, that little bit from McInnes, like he said, we can't be shaken like that. And I would agree with him. That's the slight issue from yesterday. Individually, Fernandes was caught a couple of times in the first half, and you can see that he's quite fragile confidence-wise. I thought Nico Raskin, as captain, did wonderful going over to him and getting his head up and stuff like that. But, 2-1 at half-time, it really was a game where Rangers deserved more. It's fair play to St Mirren for their goal, but it was 2-1 going on, 3-4-1 at that time. And we thankfully kicked on the second half. But all-round first half, a lot better than what it's been, certainly for sure, and the first time that we've been leading under Derek McInnes.
Yeah, the goal we lost is, I don't know exactly who's to blame. I've heard some folk try to blame Nico Raskin for this, and others blaming Dragicevic. I think that the pass itself, I think he's expecting Nico to stay, where Nico has actually seen the opportunity to get in front of him and play a forward pass. So I don't really know. It's just a mix-up more than anything else for me. Dragicevic does play the ball in behind Nico, but I think he expects Nico to be in behind him, if you know what I mean. However, there's no taking away for the strike. The boy just leathers it right in the top corner. Right, so you can't really complain sometimes. Players are going to make mistakes, and if a guy's going to hit one for 20, 22 yards right in the top bin, there's not a lot you can do. I mean, the keeper was fully stretched and almost got there, but it's just perfectly placed. So it happens in football sometimes, but the reaction to it's not great. You've got to say it's not great. I thought, as you said, there was Nico. There was a few others went over to Big Fernandez, and I wonder if the criticism's getting to the lad a little bit, and he just needs to get back to basics. It is that simple for him. He is kind of spinning about the place, trying to do flicks and tricks, and just get back to basics, son, and you'll be absolutely fine in a Rangers jersey, because this is the way he started his career at Rangers, and in the second half of the season, he really came on, didn't he, Stevie? So that's what you want him to do. Just do the simple stuff and concentrate in your own game. But overall, I'm like you. I actually thought in the first half, we've went in 2-1 up. We've kind of reasserted ourselves in the last 5-10 minutes. I thought the last 5 minutes of the first half. But if we'd been in 3 or 4-1 up, Stevie, as you say, someone couldn't have complained at all. We were by far the better side. And yeah, we just came out and reasserted ourselves in the second half, which was a joy. But overall, in the first half, when you're people have to understand that you know that is clearly a team that walked out onto that pitch yesterday, having had a major setback in the Thursday night, haven't won a league game yet, and they've come out against the holders of the Premier Sports Cup, and we've come out and we've went right at them, Stevie. So anybody complaining about much at all yesterday needs to give themselves a shake, because I thought the first half we were really pretty good, and as you say, it's just a wonder strike, and it is a misunderstanding for me when the ball's given away. I actually think it is that simple.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't think we need to over egg it. Second half was great. We start. St Mirren have a wee bit of a go. They don't create anything, and Rangers just get on top, and they score a wonderful goal. James Penrice wins a header, knocks it on to, I think it was Gassama played it to Finlay Curtis, but Penrice just keeps going. So does Gassama. There's no stopping. They both just run off. Finlay then plays a wonderful pass to James Penrice, and we're 2 against 1. And James Penrice plays it across. Gassama takes a touch, and we score. And it was back to front. It's what every team has been doing to us, and it was a wonderful moment. And then the fourth goal is an absolute work of beauty. Now, everybody will talk about Dragicevic, his goal, and I understand that because it was a worldie. But the fourth goal was incredible. It starts with Pandor, and we break the lines. He plays it forward. Nico plays it to the right to Sterling. He plays it inside. There's a flick on. Gets to Chukwani. He bundles past his guy. Plays in Gassama. He cuts in his right. It's blocked. It flips up, and there's Penrice, who had ran from left back all the way forward to tuck it away. It starts at the goalie, breaks the lines, and then we're off. And once again, much quicker. But you could actually see the coaching in there, because McInnes has obviously told them to break the lines like that. They've done it a few times in the first half to get out, and it is an absolutely brilliant footballing goal. I know that Drago will get the big credit, and he should, because it was a world-class goal, but that fourth was really a work of absolute beauty footballing-wise, and it's great to see that come off.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the third goal I loved. It got me right off my seat. The fourth goal coming so quickly is an absolute textbook what you want to see from a football team, that you can turn around and look and say on video, this is how you go about carving a team wide open. The third and fourth goals epitomise that, and it's great that we're, as you say, a little bit of coaching there, but it's the drive, it's the determination, it's the confidence, it's the ability just to go full pelt from one end of the pitch to the other, Stevie. It's been and we've probably, if you're a fan of another club looking at us, we're probably getting carried away, but it's been a long time since we've seen goals like that, Stevie. We just don't see them very often from Rangers. So if that's a taster of things to come for us, then bring it on, because some of those players, like there's a guy in my work today actually said that to me, and he's not a fan of Rangers as such, not necessarily a fan either, but he actually said, you've got very, very, very good players. He says, you just need to blend them all together and you'll be a right good side. And I was like, Mum, do you think? But at the same time, Steve, he's probably right that when you look at it, we have signed some really good players. We just need to be realistic about bringing, what is it now, 28 players in a year. And from that, Derek McInnes is a good coach. He's good manager. He's got good coaches in there. We just need to make sure that we see progression with this team, because we're so jumpy, and when things go against us, Stevie. So we've got to be a bit more grounded. Love the performance and those two goals in particular. And as I say, if they're a sign of things to come for us, then bring it on. But we are a work in progress, and we need to understand that. But if that's a sign, then bring it on, because the fourth goal in particular, as you say, is just an absolute belter. You'll not see not the same, but do you remember the goal Tavernier scored against Galatasaray at home?
Yeah, Barisic to back post.
Just all over the pit. It was one of those type of goals, Stevie. Not exciting, not the same, because it was quicker actually, but it was just the way the movement and the speed of the pass and the speed of thought to get it from there to there is brilliant. It's absolutely wonderful. And yeah, as I say, both goals had me right off my seat.
So a lot of people have been asking to see my wee pup. This is her. Her name is Amber. She's a wee Norfolk Terrier. I don't know if you can see her wee face because she's hiding, pretending to be shy, but she's only 10 weeks. And aye, she's a wee belter. So I thought I would show her to the four lads community. So aye, she's my wee pal. She's a lovely wee thing. So yeah, Kenny, the fifth goal as well. I thought the fifth goal was absolutely lovely because Chukwani bursts forward, doesn't he? He slightly overplays the pass. Penrice is there, he whips in the cross. Shanks is really unlucky because he kind of does that back heel thing, hits the inside of the post, and then Ross McCausland rifles it in from 0.5 of a yard. It was good to see him get a wee goal as well, because he probably thought, and got to remember, he's a diehard Rangers fan, grew up supporting the club and all that. He probably thought he would never score a goal for Rangers again, and did. So absolutely delighted for him. And yeah, it was just another brilliant team goal.
It was, and I'll be honest, I thought he was offside. So, although in saying that, with the way the gentleman in VAR, yesterday, the game must have lasted about 3 hours. It took them that long, I don't know. With some stuff, it was just ridiculous. But I genuinely did think Ross McCausland was offside, just because I think he was off the pitch at one point and jumped back on. I don't know, and that might be my memory of it, but yeah, listen, it's another good goal, and you're right, big Lawrence Shankland is very unlucky, because it's creative, isn't it, to kind of back flick it like that, because I didn't see that. I don't know about you, but I certainly didn't see him trying that. But listen, we've got to take all the positives we can from yesterday. We played really well for the first half hour, and then I thought we come out and just utterly dominated them in the second half. We haven't discussed the penalty that we gave away, but I thought Pander's save is an unbelievably good save. Like a proper, that's a good save, because he's fully stretched. It's right in the corner, and fair play to the big lad, because that'll be a confidence booster for him, because he's not got any clean sheets or anything like that because of the way we've been defending. None of them particularly his fault. It's just the way that we've started this season. But that should be a good confidence booster for the big lad, because I like the look of him. I've got to say, the keeper.
I said it when he signed. I thought he was really good, and everybody that I say is really good normally turns out to be awful. So when he saved that penalty yesterday, there was a wee bit of me going, "That's okay." But I like Big Pandora. I think he's cracking. So we'll talk a wee bit about the signings in a bit. But the fifth goal I thought was great. Unlucky for Shankland. I just thought overall it was a really good day for Rangers. There was a lot of brilliant performances, a lot of lovely moments. Negative, yeah. Big Manny was a bit of a rash challenge for the second for the penalty. A lot of people saying about a second yellow card. I'm just going to refer to the rules. The rules are not supporting that, because what the rules actually say about that is, when I bring them up, not every foul in the penalty box is a yellow card. So when a foul gets no card, a simple trip, mistimed tackle, or accidental push that stops an attack without being dangerous or malicious results only in a penalty kick with no yellow or red card. Manny Fernandez shouldn't have been sent off. So we need to not allow that narrative to continue, because what's happening is that, that'll very, very quickly become, Manny Fernandez should have went off and St Mirren could have came back. It was 4-1 at the time. So, and it wasn't a red card. It is a mistimed tackle. It's not a rash one. It's not high. It's not anything. And it also says, defender tries to play the ball but makes a fair mistake and commits a normal foul. It is just a penalty. Now, we have to talk about the officials, Kenny. Kevin Clancy spent 1.5 hours trying to disallow everything that Rangers gave. The offside one for the first goal was mystifying. And, the other ones, I can see the point in the Penrice one, because Nadiri's a bit close. McCausland obviously fine. But the amount of time, I seen a thing yesterday, it took nearly 9 minutes for VAR to check our goals yesterday. It took them 0 to see Raskin getting a two-handed shove. It certainly took them 0 to see the pulling on Fernandez and all that as well. Now, people are saying the ball was out of play. The ball was the corner was taken, and Fernandez starts to move towards the ball but cannot get there because he was getting hauled back at the start. These are penalties. 2 penalties Rangers should have had yesterday. I don't want to listen. I don't want to start going down the routes and all that of everything that we all know what's there. It's right in front of our faces. And when you see stuff that happened over the course of a weekend, it's hugely frustrating. The lack of consistency. And I think, we go back, and Connor Barron handballed against Aberdeen in about 45 phases before we actually scored. And we got it chopped off. And then you see some of the things that are now getting given and that are not even getting checked, and you're just like, wow. And it's not should to be given in things, it's a lack of consistency. I think when you see the penalties we don't get given at the weekend, and then you see the one that got given against us for Hibs, the two-handed shove on Raskin is awful. So, I'm waiting on Willie Collum bouncing out after the game last night to clarify it, but apparently only does that for some teams. It's a poor show again from the officials. John Beaton and Kevin Clancy, they're not exactly renowned for their good decision making, but that was really, really poor.
First of all, Willie Collum coming out on a Saturday night with a statement, because how will I phrase this? Inexplicable decisions, right? That's all I'm going to say. Inexplicable. And he can turn around and say stuff like the one previous with the Falkirk player was punishable, but in law. What are you talking about? Right now, that's just a nonsense, Stevie. That handball is just the most blatant handball you're ever going to see, and there's no made up. Let's twist the rule to turn around and it's handball. He's punched it into the boys. Anyway, bugger that. We're going to talk about us and Kevin Clancy. And here's the issue I have with this, Stevie, that I don't mind them checking VAR checking offside stuff. I don't mind that. The first one, as you say, is bonkers because there's nobody anywhere near being offside. Then they're checking other phases, aren't they, and stuff. And this is where you have to turn around and say, you're now at the point where you have to, if you're a Rangers fan or involved in, at the club itself, you're a player, a manager, director, whatever it may be, you have to look at this and say they're actually going out their way to find ways to chalk our goals off. That's what they're doing. Now, I'm not a massive watcher of other, teams in this country, but if they're getting the same kind of treatment, then the game's gone, and I don't believe they are. And this is my kind of issue with it, that you have to be able to turn around and look at that and say, and question what's happened over the weekend again. 3 of our goals takes 9 minutes to look at. Why? If you're taking 3 minutes on average to try and find something, what are you all about? Seriously, what are you all about? All you need to do, this is really simple. Draw the line, check the previous phase of play, and that's you done. So if you're taking that amount of time, there's an issue here. And what is the issue? I've just got to the point. I've said this so many times on here, Stevie, and I'm going to say it again. There's only one way to deal with this. And until Rangers do, then we're going to smash our heads against brick walls week in, week out. Until Rangers go nuclear, call for individuals' heads and actually go all out and on the attack and full-scale war with what's going on, and nothing's going to change. It isn't, Stevie. It can't. We've watched it for... I was actually discussing this with a guy today. You think back, and this was going on years before this as well, but do you remember when Stephen Gerrard beat them over at Parkhead and they had a goal that was a handball? They should have had 4 players sent off, all these kind of things. It was the worst refereeing display I've ever seen in my entire life. And who was it? It was Kevin Clancy. And he's still here, still inexplicably trying to do things and still getting away with it, Stevie. So I'm sorry, I'm going to criticise the powers that be at Rangers here and actually try and force them to, or when I say force them, trying to get them to understand, no matter what you say to them, and nothing's going to change. You have to take it, in that respect, take matters into your own hands and actually go nuclear on it and start demanding things. Go public and go all out. That until we do that, Stevie, because even that yesterday, Stephen, I know I'm on a bit of a rant now, but if you look at that yesterday, how many times have we seen the same kind of thing at Ibrox? It's over and over and over again. They are clearly looking at ways to chalk our goals off, and I'm fed up with it.
Yeah, I think that it becomes really difficult to even justify. And what I find confusing is they spend minutes and minutes trying to take our goals away, and then they spend zero time or others looking. Last week, the penalty for Hibs was 2 phases. Like, the ball had been out twice, and it was a whole minute and a half later. And it's like, stop. We found something. I find that absolutely bizarre. And the first goal as well yesterday, it's very frustrating from a Rangers point of view, because I don't like sitting here talking about conspiracies and decisions. I think the standard is absolutely grim. And week upon week, they do nothing to show me. Rangers are a football club. Said that, we're going to tackle this and we're going to get support from other clubs and everything else, then, they for me, I wouldn't handle it that way. I think it's went too far, but it is what it is. Kenny, great news for the club today. Ryder Maguire has signed a new 3-year contract at the club. Derek McInnes delighted, believes he has a big future in the game. He played 2 or 3 behind closed doors games, didn't he, this summer? He's a cracking young goalkeeper, got all the kind of attributes you want. I've seen him a few times at youth level. I think he saved the 3 penalties against Celtic in the Youth Cup last year and then scored one himself. So he's certainly not short of confidence. He comes from a good background. His mum and dad are really nice. Big Phil, who used to play for Aberdeen Dunfermline, really nice, friendly guys. Always in the away end, on the home end at Rangers games. His son's out there warming up most weeks as well. So yeah, he comes from a good, stable background. Good young goalkeeper. All the attributes, got the height and everything else, and that's a great deal for us. And by the way, there was a lot of English clubs, especially from London and the Manchester clubs, all wanting Reddy Maguire down south, and we've managed to keep hold of him. Now you tack that on to Scally and Glasgow, who scored his first goal for Alaba in league football at the weekend as well. This is great for our academy. When you look at Paul and Seal going to Wraith and now is at St Mirren, playing exceptionally well for them, judging by what their fans are saying. So our youth is finally starting to look like it's performing as such, or performing how we think it should.
Yeah, the club's got big hopes for this boy, and I'm delighted that we've got him tied up, because as you just said there, I had heard that already myself, that a number of very big clubs in England were after looking at him, and you've got to say, for us to get this kid tied down, particularly with his, without being funny about this, particularly with his dad being an ex-player and knowing that, you know, it is a short career, Stevie. So they might well be looking at, you could get 2-3 times the amount of money you're going to get here. You make your money, and if you make it down there, then you're going to have a wonderful time. But they've actually taken the time to consider and say that they, and this is what I like about this, that as I say, with his dad being who he is, they've actually looked at Rangers and said, this is the way you want to go. You will get a pathway to first team football here that I think if you'd asked a lot of these kids a year or two ago, that it wouldn't happen, Stevie. So whatever we're doing, whatever we are kind of approaching these kids and their agents and their families with, to get this amount of them signed up is just, I've discussed this before, but the youth system at Rangers frustrates the bejesus out of me. So this is really positive, almost baby steps, but moving really forward with it. So to get this kid, who, as you say, I've only seen him once on the TV. I haven't seen much of him. I know you have, but he looks a good keeper to me. And good keepers, good Scottish keepers, are hard to come by. So let's hope that by signing him up, get him out on loan, because he's not going to feature because of the age of him. I think keepers they take a little bit longer to mature and become proper. And I would look at that and say, right, you go and put him wherever they feel that he can play at the highest level. Go and do that and let him build for a year or two, and then bring him back, and he should be looking to fight for a place in our first team. It's that simple. In 2 or 3 years, and we just make sure that's the most important thing for the boy, that we look after him and get him game time, get him a number of games, get him 80, 90 games over the next couple of 2 or 3 seasons, Stevie, and the boy will be ready. That's the great thing about it. I don't want to overly, be dramatic about this, because, I've said it many times, but Stevie, I genuinely do feel that getting these young boys tied down at Rangers and giving them that pathway is so important. And I'm delighted that we've managed to secure a number of them over the last few months now. So good luck to a lot of them. I hope they all make it.
Yeah, absolutely. Kenny, on to transfer rumours, and it wouldn't be Rangers without. We know last week Kavanagh said at the AGM he wants 3 to 5 in. We then get James Penrice in. I still think we need quality, and it's a boring conversation, especially after winning 5-1. I thought performance yesterday were better, but it probably shows that if you get that quality in the forward areas, that performances from others will be enhanced around it. I think I said this morning on Rangers Review, and I think on review we can look at it and say the guys we've actually spent money on have been decent. When you look at Pandor and goals, Dragicevic, Yokota, these sort of guys, these all look fairly decent. And I think, you know, we've done okay. There's a few in there that you're still waiting. And they need to continue to step up and things. But if McInnes is managing to get, you know, form out of Gassama for 60 minutes or so, you get another winger in there that can play possibly both sides, and they'll look all right. They'll have Gassama, Curtis, Yokota. We need one more, and we're going to need a forward. So, and there's still the defence to be strengthened. They need a centre back. Do they then get something in different in midfield if and when Nico goes? I think so. So, you know, Derek done what he always does and said he hopes to have one or two in by Thursday night. He said that now the last 4 or 5 weeks. So, you know, I think that's a kind of stock answer for him. I'm still looking at, you know, a number of players going out. When you look at McCausland and that, no disrespect to him. I think Ross is, you know, a good pro and a good Rangers fan and everything else. So we need him to get on there. Tello Asgard is still, you know, he was suspended yesterday, so he's still to come back in there somewhere. Somebody the manager really likes, but until he starts imposing on games and not playing on the fringes, I don't think at this moment, you know, he gets anywhere near my team. So yesterday might have been a blueprint for them, Kenny, but they still need that quality for me. I don't think yesterday means suddenly everything's wonderful or suddenly things are better. I think we've done pretty well. There might be a blueprint there. There might be lots of things we can take confidence from, like the goalkeeper's penalty save, like the goals from open play, like the different scorers, etc., like Penrice's debut. So there was a lot to do yesterday. To be proud of yesterday, but that a little bit of quality. Kind of said something extra as well, something really interesting for me. He said the players that are coming in are going to bring that excitement and things. So we're being linked with a few. We'll talk about them in a minute, Kenny. We're throwing about big bids as well at this moment, but that little bit of quality, it's a boring conversation. We've said it. That little bit of quality could make the difference, and it could really knit together the transfer window for Rangers. And I think it's necessary to get that in if we're going to turn games yesterday. If we're going to play like yesterday, we need that little bit of quality to help them get there.
Yeah, I agree. My concern at this minute in time is that the amount of players that we still have on the books that I expected to be away. So I think that might be making it a little bit more difficult. As you say, yesterday was a lot to be positive about. However, it is only one game. You take it in isolation, and then there's no question in my mind that we need extra quality in particular areas. You say we were talking about getting a right back. We need a centre half. We probably, if Nico, I mean, I would look at this and I thought that Suter would be away by now, Barron would be away by now, Ross McCausland would be away by now. None of these guys are away, and I'm finding it a little bit concerning that none of them are away yet. I've got to be honest, because I thought Nico would be away by now as well. I've got to be honest, I thought he'd have been gone, but if he goes at the end of the window, then are you incapable of replacing him? That's the kind of issue. You know, you might bring 20 million quid in for Nico Raskin, but if you can't spend it, what's the point letting him go? So it's difficult, that, but the wingers are the key for me. We need a centre half, as I say. I don't really know what else to say, mate. We've been banging on about this for the entire summer now, and I just look at it and say, right, we know what we need. I've got a couple of things I want to say about the guys that we're getting linked with, but I don't really. How would I put this? It's not something I'm overly concerned about who the people are. We just need extra quality. We need better players than we have. As you've said all summer, we're bringing in squad players, and they might be slightly better squad players than some of the guys that have left. but they're still squad players. We need first 11 players. That's what we need to come and make this team a better team. We still need 3 or 4 of them, Stevie, no question, that can come in and automatically go, he's better than the guy next to him, or he's better than the guy who's taking his place. That's what we need to see. And they need to be serious about it. I think that's part of the problem as well, in terms of the frustration that fans have had. We're getting, little links here or sniffs there about, oh, we might be interested in so-and-so, nothing comes of it. Go and be serious about what we're trying to do over the next week or so, because time is running out. I mean, it is literally running out. We've only, this is the 16th, so we'll get 2 weeks, Stevie, and that's us, we'll be done.
Yeah, it'll keep us busy for the next couple of weeks, Rangers. If they're aiming to bring in, that 3 to 5 that the chairman talked about, then we'll need to get moving. Suggestions over the weekend that we flung in a $10 million bid for big Venezuelan striker Kevin Kelsey. Ended up in the MLS. I think he was at Shakhtar beforehand, scoring goals aplenty. I think he scored in Champions League and everything else. And he really highly thought of. He ended up, because of the situation in Ukraine, going to the MLS. I think he's Portland Timbers he's at, if I remember correctly. And then, Rangers have highlighted this boy. He's strong, powerful. I think he's 6'4". Good, strong, solid number 9. Scores in the air, scores in the ground. You create chances for him, he'll score. We've got, strikers that can score if we create chances, but don't, because we don't create chances up until yesterday. So ironic that one of the games that Shanklin would have been very good in, he didn't actually play in. So he's one of the options, and Rangers have flung in a bid that's been rejected. But there is a growing consensus, Kenny, that, there was talk around yesterday that he'll be here soon, and that's interesting for me. It's a lot of money. And then just today, Fabrizio Romano reporting Rangers have tabled a $7 million offer to Brighton for Amario Cozier-Duberry, who we've spoke about before. Other reporters are saying it's 7.5. That's a hell of a lot of money. Just, we're best part of what, nearly 20 million quid on 2 guys. And I don't want it. Sometimes it comes when you get to this stage of the window. Is it are you just doing it because you're weighted and you've targeted all these players? I really hope it is. These are the guys that are supposed to be the quality. Duberry had outstanding numbers for Bolton. Derek watched him quite a bit, Derek Clark, and then he said he kind of dried up a wee bit and after Christmas. And what we can't afford to do is, if we're bringing in a guy like that, is have him being inconsistent, because we need him to be spot on with that kind of investment. It's from down south. We haven't exactly got a sterling record from down there. I do like the idea of Big Kelsey. I know he done well for Shakhtar. Some of the footage of him is really good. But again, it's a hell of a lot of money to be spending on 2 of these guys. We still need a centre back. That's key. So a lot of work to be done still, Kenny. And it's these 3 places, winger, striker, centre back, the spine of your team, more or less, to complete the spine of your team, your centre back and your striker. If we can nail them, then I think it makes a huge difference. But it has to be quality. It can't be projects again, because if they're projects again, Kenny, then we're gambling. And these guys need to be quality that come in and make the difference, because that defines the whole transfer window for me.
The big lad Kevin Kelsey, he's not a project, Stevie. He's a good player, right? He is a good striker. I remember him, as you say, from Shakhtar. His time at Shakhtar a few years back, but I don't really remember much about him. I just remember his name, if you know what I mean, if I'm being honest. But having done a little bit of homework on him, he's a fine player. He'll be a handful in Scotland, a big handful. The other boy, Duberry, I find this one a little bit perplexing, I've got to be honest, for a number of reasons. First of all, yeah, you're right. When you've seen his numbers at Bolton, I think part of the reason his numbers dried up a little bit in the second half, did he not get a knee injury and he was out for a number of weeks. So I can't really overly comment on the player himself, but I'm always a wee bit wary of guys like that in that league or in the Championship, the league above it, where, you know, we've seen that many of them, Stevie, come here and they don't do much. You know, they've got flicks and tricks and skills, but are they consistency that we need? No, I don't think they are. But here's my biggest gripe about this. Last January, we had Parag Marathi actually say that after it had come out that Celtic were looking at one of their Leeds players, that they were a little bit bemused by it. And this guy is a Brighton player, and it's Tony Bloom. And I'm wondering why we're going there. Because if I'm Tony Bloom, I'm not entertaining this at all. Hearts have got aspirations and ambitions himself, so why would they turn around and sell us a player at all? Even if he's not the greatest of players, why would you turn around and do it? I don't really understand it. And for me personally, for that kind of money, Stevie, I would be looking in other leagues. I don't mean to sound rude, but I would be looking at other leagues and saying, I think you get better value elsewhere. I could be wrong. I'm saying that not knowing huge amounts about the player, Stevie, but my concern is that when you're playing with Bolton in League One last year, it is a little bit inconsistent, isn't it?
Aye, maybe we should just go and sign Czerny and Chris Smalling just so that people would stop saying in the comments we should get Czerny and Chris Smalling is available for free. Yes, Chris Smalling is available for free, but I doubt he's coming here. 36-year-old, could be experienced, could be what we're needing, but anyway. Kenny, huge thanks to Be Kind, who's gifted 10 Four Lads Rangers podcast memberships. Thank you. Question we had earlier, which brings us to the end of the show, Kenny, from Jordan. How important do you think the League Cup is? Kenny, before I answer it, thanks to Jordan as well for donation. You don't need to do that, but we appreciate it. You really don't need to. Where are you on this question, Kenny?
How important are trophies for Rangers? I'll rephrase it. I don't care what one of the three it is. I want to win all three at the start of every single season, and I couldn't care less how we do it. 3 trophies in 15 years, Stevie. And I don't mean to sound rude to Jordan here, but for me, it's everything that we need. It's the first trophy of the season. We've had a bad start in the league, but nobody's going to give anything up. We just need to sit there and start to build a team and start picking up results. And the league season will take care of itself. It's a marathon, as we know. It's not a sprint. This one, you could have a trophy in the bag by Christmas. Or I don't know exactly when they're playing the final this year. I'm saying that it's usually about Christmas time, isn't it? It's usually a week or two before Christmas. So it's vital for me. The League Cup. I mean, vital.
Yeah, I've seen too many examples of Rangers picking up League Cups that have powered them on to win leagues. I'm going to tell you the first one was first one that springs to mind, Alex McLeish winning. He beat Celtic 2-1 at Ibrox, and I think Arveladze got the winner, didn't he? Purcell got the first after Hartson scored for Celtic, and then in the final we beat Motherwell 5-1. That year we won the league because it powered us on. Once we picked up one, players get a taste for it, everything else, and then all of a sudden you're going to win that league. The second one was Walter in his third season. We were trailing Celtic that league, at some points at 7 points, 4 points, 5 points. We go into the League Cup final. We win that one. That was the famous Jelavic goal off the inside the post and worked its way in after Weiss put him through. So we again then went on to win the league that year. Winning is absolutely everything at Rangers. We know that. We haven't won enough. But even aside of that, the mental push that the League Cup can bring, how important is it is vital. Winning breeds, as comments are saying, winning breeds winning. we need to get back into habits of lifting trophies. If we don't land the league this year, we need to make sure that silverware comes in elsewhere and from other places. The League Cup is drawn, Kenny. We do have Celtic at home. Honest truth, I would have liked to have seen Celtic go to Hearts or Tynecastle and at Tynecastle, and we avoid them as best we could. We're going to have to probably beat them at some time unless they do get that tricky tie where they fall over. But we have them at Ibrox at least. If we were to play them on Saturday, we wouldn't be ready. But in a month's time, I hope that we are. I hope we get more results like yesterday, or even performances. We're not going to win 5-1 every week, although it would be nice. And to set us up with a bit of momentum, because we do need that going into the game next month. We probably need them to drop a wee bit and, give us that feel-good factor if they were to draw a game or whatever. So there's a lot of variables in there. But I'm a wee bit stung by the fact that when we had that double header against them last season, we were all saying 2 at Ibrox will take them, and we didn't even. Aside of 45 minutes when we were 2-0 up, and then we easily got pulled back. We didn't do what we should have done in that game. And then the Scottish Cup, when they came, they had a very weak team. They knocked us out on penalties. We were toothless. So we've got to have an intent. That game at Ibrox, absolutely, for me, has to be one that we gear ourselves up and get ready for. On the ticket thing, I would give them absolutely nothing. It's not up to me, however. If they're giving them something, I would give them 800, and that's it. It's a League Cup, so there's no claim on 20% or whatever. But even if there was a claim on 20%, in my opinion, they would have been told and should have been told absolutely no. So, going to wreck our stadium like you did last time, then the answer to that is a straight up no. Kenny, your thoughts on the draw, what it will mean for Derek McInnes, potential of their support, etc. What's your position on it?
On the draw, I think it's ideal for us in the sense that you're not playing them away from home and you're not playing them at Hampden in a neutral venue. You've got them at home. You can't complain at that. If you're going to play them in a competition, that's the best place to play them. So I'm happy with that. I'm not overly scared or concerned about them whatsoever. I think we just deal with ourselves. We concentrate on ourselves. We get our act together, which hopefully yesterday is the start of doing, because I thought we played very well. We have good players, Stevie, and we just need to, turn the wheel over the next few weeks, get the players in that we need, and let's see where we're at. But if you're talking about giving them an allocation at all, I'm with you in this. I wouldn't give them anything. I genuinely wouldn't. I think that the Scottish Cup game is the final straw for me with them. I just think it's not worth the hassle at all. Sad as that may be for people that like to go to away games, the Rangers fans that do that. I just turn on, because they'll do like for like, they'll do tit for tat. But I would just, it's not worth it. It's too much of a hassle. So on the draw, mate, I just look at it and say, well, would you rather get them in the final? Maybe. But then again, I'd rather take them at Ibrox. And I think it's your best opportunity to make sure that you get a result is at home. So perfectly happy with it. And if we do get past it, it really opens it up for us, mate. We will be in Glasgow for the semi. And if we get there, they would be in the Glasgow for the final. So we can't complain here. It's now open for us. The final goal on that, and the trophy is there if you go about your business. And I'm not taking it for granted. I don't mean it like that. What I mean is just the opportunity to go a few miles across the city, mate. You're not travelling anywhere. You're going to have the majority of the fans in the stadium. It gives us the perfect opportunity to go and win that trophy that we were talking about.
Yeah, it's a perfect opportunity, I think, for Derek McInnes. By the time that game comes around, hopefully we've got a few wins. Big games against Aberdeen, I think, play Motherwell as well. In the league and Europe is now huge. against the Czechs on Thursday night. So a lot of games there where Derek McInnes can begin to turn the tide and get people to settle down and everything else. I did think genuinely football was a lot better yesterday, and the performance and results certainly was. Do we still need a few more players? We absolutely do still need a few more players. I still think we need that quality that I've been moaning about all summer. So that's still to come. But on yesterday, massive congratulations to the team and to the manager. Got it spot on. Take it into Thursday now. That's the big thing. Kenny, thank you very much, mate. Nice to have a nice calm podcast for once. It feels like ages since we've last done one where we could actually enjoy it and celebrate a victory. So yeah, first one down for Derek. Congratulations to him and the players. Now we kick on and do more.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely spot on. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Nice to talk about a win. And as you say, it's being realistic. It is a baby step forward, but nobody's under any illusions. We'll get a massive game on Thursday coming up. Go and do the business in that. Make sure we've got group football up to Christmas basically. So because it's only the 6 games, so it finishes early, which is good. But let's just get on with building our team and getting our season up and running, Stevie. And as I say, yesterday was a good step forward. The football was exciting to watch for the first time in a long, long time. So thoroughly enjoyed that, mate.
Yeah, we'd absolutely agree. A few more of them and we'll be well on the way to where we're needing to go and to where I believe that Derek McInnes has got the ability to take us, as much as that might not be universally thought of amongst the support. I'm fully behind Derek McInnes because I do think that, or I do hope that he's a man to take us where we need to go. Huge thanks to our sponsors as ever. Let's see if I can get through this. CBD Oil Scotland, 50% off if you say 4 lads when you're quoting or buying an order online. Our thanks to Candid, LBJ Consultants, Elite Scooter Scotland, Metaclad 4 lads, official roofing partner. They'll be doing a competition. We'll be helping to promote them. So have a look on our pages in the coming week or so. If you win the competition, then you'll end up getting a £250 voucher for the Rangers Superstore at Ibrox. So hugely worth getting involved in that. Keep an eye on our socials for that one. We'll also promote it on the podcasts as well. So keep an eye. Also, a huge thanks to us. Aesthetics Lounge by Sharon, which you can get 10% off. Kenny, don't shake your head, mate. You can do this next time and see if you can do it. Quote 4 lads when you're booking and you'll get 10% off, as well as Denhay, the quintessential British bacon, which we'll hopefully have a few exciting guests on from them pretty soon. So worth a conversation. And the returning sponsors, Athol Industrial Solutions. Huge thanks to Ian and Deb and everybody there. So as I said, there is some prizes and things coming up, so keep an eye out for that from Metaclad. From us, Kenny and I would say thank you very much for joining us on this Monday evening. As usual, Tuesday night, Davey Haird's back with a history show tomorrow night. If there's breaking news, we may come on live, but Kenny and I will be back 7 o'clock on Wednesday, and then Thursday night it'll be myself and Rob, I think, on the gantry to report from Ibrox for that one. So yeah, and then Friday night live show, Sunday night live show. So yeah, we'll get there. I promise. As much as I'll get there with trying to say all the sponsors and not making mistakes, at some point I'll get there too, just like Rangers maybe. On that note, well done to the team and well done to the manager. Criticism may be harsh at times, folks, but it's deserved. And if we accept a Rangers that don't provide or don't perform as how we really think they should, and come on here and give you a show that isn't authentic, that isn't what we believe. I've seen a lot of people say it might be for clicks, it might be for that. Kenny and I have been going to Rangers games for 30, 40 odd years, and the only thing we care about is Rangers winning. Clicks and everything else, I think we would rather avoid. And other supporters and everybody else who tune in for a laugh and watch and everything else, we don't talk about anybody else, we talk about Rangers. It's all we're really interested in. And we thank everybody in the comments and everybody that watches. As for Rangers themselves, just keep winning and we'll be happy. It's not really that difficult, is it? Take care, folks. Have a lovely couple of days. We'll see you all again on Wednesday. Bye for now. The Four Lads Rangers podcast is sponsored by Athol Industrial Solutions, Candid, LBJ Consultants, CBD Oil Scotland, Elite Scooter Scotland, and Metaclad, Four Lads exclusive roofing partner. The Aesthetics Lounge by Sharon, Denhay, the quintessential British bacon. Thank you to our sponsors and also to our partners, Black Rooster, Art of Gold, and Rangers Youth Development Company. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.